This is Papa Smurf. You're listening to Our Lifestyle, the podcast, with ODB and the Mayor.
Yo, it's ODB, Our Lifestyle podcast, and we want to remind you that Bayou Showdown is going down later this year in Slidell, Louisiana at the Harbor Center. That's 100 Harbor Center Boulevard, again in Slidell, Louisiana. Bayou Showdown is November 20th and 21st. It's the weekend before Thanksgiving, so get on out and support the scene, including Custom Car Show Productions in conjunction with Mr. Sean Randall. Bayou Showdown, November 20th and 21st, Slidell, Louisiana. Check that hashtag, Bayou Showdown, or Facebook, Bayou Showdown, for more information. Yo, it's Our Lifestyle podcast, also known as OLP, episode 261. We're out here at Sema 2021. So far, it's been amazing, and we've only went through 2 days. The setup. Want to thank, as you heard at the top, Biggity Bayou Showdown. It's going down the weekend before Thanksgiving in Slidell, Louisiana. And also Mini Truck Showdown, which is going to be in Las Vegas, where we're at now. First weekend in June for 2022. We hope to see you guys come out. So, Biggity Mike the Mayor, he's back, of course, in Naples, delivering the mail. We're out here on location doing a lot of different audio. You're going to hear, hopefully, just different interviews that we're able to link up in between the live streams with Street Trucks Magazine. Billy Bob, he hasn't arrived yet, but yesterday we got his truck all set up here in the Engaged Media booth, and he got the wheels clocked. He wiped it down, and things looking awesome, representing relaxed atmosphere here at SEMA 2021. Now, the first guest, or as I should say, victim, we saw walking by, one of our buddies, the big homie, Geoff, Jizz from Mini Garage. How you doing, my brother?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
Good, man. Thanks again for joining us, dude. We're loving the channel with YouTube. A lot of hustle. Talk to us a little bit about what you've been doing.
Man, we August, we gave away the red Mazda that I worked so hard on, that I showed at LST and at Mini Nats. We gave that to my son for a wedding gift. And we've got a couple new trucks. The newest one I'm working on is a cab plus long bed, stock floored on 20s, V8 right-hand drive.
Hells yeah, brother. That's what it's about. And when you told me the truck was leaving, I was a little sad. And then when I realized where it was going, of course, I couldn't be sad about that. You, keep me honest, the way the truck thing had worked, you had helped your son out prior with that?
Yeah. Now, we had built that for him. We got that truck when he was 10 years old, and we put it together for him, for his first ride. He got it featured in Common Treads magazine at 15 years old.
Wow.
And then he also did real well with it at the Portland Roaster Show. Got an autographed toolbox from Dave Kindig and Kev Dog.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
That's cool. Kev Dog, shout out to Severed, Utah.
And then he was ready to buy a house last year, or year before last, and needed some extra money for the down payment. And we helped him out, and he wanted to sell the truck, and I was like, you're not selling that truck, no way. Let me help you out with the money. And I helped him out with the money. I kept the truck, started the YouTube channel. Now that's been just 2 years we've been doing the YouTube, and it all started with that truck. And he got married this August, and we gave the truck back to him.
Dude, what an amazing story. It's awesome how you can help family out, but also with the Mini Truck Spin. Keep me honest. So last year, or this year, I should say, Southeast Mini Truckin' Nationals, also known as Mini Nats, one of our favorite shows in the country, arguably the biggest, baddest mini truck show in the world, right? I'll put some money on that one. You came all the way out from the Pacific Northwest. This is not the first time I've seen you this year. This is at least the third or fourth time. How awesome was it to come across and show the Mazda that you're talking about there in Maggie Valley, North Carolina?
Maggie Valley, if you haven't been, you have to go. I was lucky enough to get one of the 700 tickets in 3 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
And drag my truck all the way across the country.
How many miles again from kind of there?
It was like 2,600. I think it was 2,600.
And then going back, you went a different route.
On the way back, we took a different route, and we came here. We ended up here in Vegas for the Mini Truck Showdown the following week. Yeah,
dude, that was insane.
And so we spent the first week out there in Maggie Valley with Daryl Poe, and we were out here in Vegas with him the next week. It was awesome. It was
I mean, only in the world of mini trucking, it seems like that could happen. You know what I mean? So I thought that was pretty cool. Now, I know you don't want to talk too much about the honey hole that you found, but when you gallivanted back west, my intel from Moscow told me that you were running through Texas, and you landed upon a nice stash. So that was pretty cool.
I met a really good guy in El Paso, and he has got a true honey hole full of old school mini truck parts. I was able to walk away with some. Originally, I was like, I want to buy it all, and he was willing to share some of his treasures, and the stories that went along with it were awesome.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, and then the location, undisclosed location, right? We can't be giving that out. But that's the cool thing. You know, you've kind of you and I talked recently, and we talked about kind of inspiring other people and stuff. What's inspiring to me is like someone like yourself. I know Ron's done it plenty of times. Daryl Poe and Nikki. You know, going across the country. I've driven about halfway across the country and as well north up to Camp and Drag in the past. You know, it's no easy feat. It's not cheap, especially right now with the way things are. But when you think about the dedication that it takes, right, the time off from work, the fuel, the memories, though, last for a lifetime.
A lifetime. And I'm doing this with my friends, and I'm making new friends along the way. And you're right. I've seen you more times this year than I've seen people up in the Pacific Northwest, too.
It's awesome. And I joke about that all the time because I've got some homies that live, 20 minutes away. And I'm like, man, I've seen you, Ron, and some of the crew, and even Billy Bob. I mean, which was crazy for him. We just had him on 260. He came into Florida. We had a great time, but then he flew to Key West, drove back that same day. But that's the cool thing about it. And you can also do things. My buddy Vic and I would always talk about this. If you get the homies together, right? The old school mini trucking way was like, you get 4 or 5 guys in a truck and then you gallivant, right? Everybody kind of chips in a little bit here and there, maybe split a room. But to me, like getting back to the roots of how we were able to navigate and do those things in our younger years, that's important.
Right. What I've gained from all this whole ride is it doesn't matter what part of the country I'm in. Everybody treats me like family. It doesn't matter what logo's on your back window. It doesn't matter who you hang with. Guys back and forth across the country always make me feel welcome. And the same thing when I got a message about Sema two days ago that says, "Hey, come on down. I got a room. You need a place to crash? I'm here." I'm like, and that was Casey Harden from Kentucky. So I'm going to crash with him tonight, and we'll keep this thing going.
Yeah, that's awesome. We see our homie Chad Luke walking by. He was just on episode 260, and love seeing his truck in the Scorpion Coatings booth out there in the front repping Negative Camper.
I saw that just a little bit ago.
Yeah, amazing. But getting back to like what you just said, man, that's an important piece of it. And like you said, the aspect of a homie going, "Hey, man, I got a room for you. Let's gallivant down." You guys drove overnight, understanding.
Yeah.
I mean, Ron doesn't play, does he?
No,
you know what I mean?
There's no messing around. I was like, we could stop for no. It's rolling.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Hank's been known. I mean, it could be a water gun. I mean, he's been known to put a gun to a head and say, "You're going to keep driving," because he knows all the gentlemen's clubs.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
He does.
And he when he wants to roll in town, he means business.
And generally, you don't play with Hank.
Right, exactly. And he's got ties. The rest of peace, Larry Flynn and all that stuff, and the ranch that's out there. So
yeah,
it's good times. I know you haven't had a chance to walk around a lot, but when you think about how big this industry, I mean, you've seen a little bit, and we're mini truckers, but you could call it car and truck enthusiasts. How amazed are you that the industry has grown to a point that, I mean, these booths, the amount of money that it is to ship things in and all this stuff. I mean, isn't it just insane?
It's really insane. You see stuff on TV. I mean, I've never been here before today. I've seen stuff on TV, and it looks like, that looks like it's a pretty big show. But when you actually physically are here walking and taking it in, you'll never see all of it. But the stuff that catches your eye, you're like, Damn, bro. That's that. Yeah.
Bag Ferraris.
Yeah, bag Ferraris.
Lifted skies, crazy stuff. The few times I've been here, it seems like, man, the older I get, I had to go buy a new pair of shoes the other day because I was like, you know what, I'm going to be walking around here and I want to like be able to like really enjoy it, you know. But as we get older, to your point, when you think about the magnitude of this, you see it on TV and you're like, but when you walk around here, dude, and then they've got that whole new, I think it's the West Wing that goes across the street, kind of over where I think that parking lot used to be for Sema Ignited. I mean, I just almost like tap out as soon as I pull in town going, okay, I can't see it all.
Yeah, it's huge. That building, we parked across the street from there and walked in from there, and that building is massive.
Yeah, we drove in front of it, and it said like West Hall or whatever, and just like the entrance to it could be like a convention center in a city, and you go, oh, by the way, that's just one piece of this, which is insanity. Recently, I saw on your channel, so again, I would ask that you guys go to YouTube and type in Mini Garage, just how it sounds. On your channel, I saw that you've been working on some other cool stuff. I love how things don't always go perfect, right? Because that's important, because it doesn't always work that way. It's not like a TV show. So you're willing to show some of the things where you kind of go, man, I kind of wish this would have happened. It's that realness of your channel.
Yeah, and you know, I've been taking a lot of questions over Messenger and Instagram, and we're looking to the future to do more how-to stuff for the guys that are in the forums that want the answers and have a little video explanation about it.
Yeah, I'm a visual person, so you can sit here and explain to me how to like wire compressors and do all that. And no, of course I've done that, but the point is that me, like, I kind of got to see it. You know, if I went to a training class, you could talk to me for 8 hours, but if you kind of said, hey, here's what I need you to do, I go, okay, I got it.
Right.
So that's the cool thing about YouTube. We need to get you some like, you know, they always joked about, like, I'm a YouTube mechanic, you know, because we've all learned things, how to fix things in our house and stuff like that. But you're like, you know, you're like YouTube mini trucking certified. You know what I mean?
Hell
like, you
yeah.
can go to your channel and learn some shit.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
I love it, man. Listen, we don't want to take up too much of your time. Give a shout out to Ron and the homie that rolled down with you from Hawaiian Grinds.
Yeah, Brent Hunter and my homie Ron. We came down here last night, and we're having an awesome time down here at SEMA. I really thank you for your time.
Yeah, no problem, Geoff. Dude, everyone please go on YouTube. It's free. Just click subscribe to Mini Garage. A little over 1,000 subscribers. We're trying to get to your level. Thanks for always inspiring us, dude. Safe travels back, but most importantly, have fun while you're here in Vegas.
Man.
Give us a we at ya.
We at ya.
My brother. On to the next one. Yo, we're continuing our coverage here of SEMA 2021. And we stumbled upon a guy named Hank that was last night. I don't know if you've ever seen the meme where there's like a giraffe and the giraffe's falling and the one's like, let's just get you home, buddy. That's what we had to do with Hank. We got him home. He was safe. But then Ron came through today. And Ron, sometimes I always wonder, it's like I've never seen you and Hank in the same place at the same time. So it's like almost like a Superman deal. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Hank's he's not far away. Never.
Now, I know what you guys are thinking, man. You know, you're a regular on the show, but here's the thing. We're out on the West Coast, technically, and you, my friend, are out here. You came down. You drove down kind of a last-minute trip, and I knew I couldn't do some audio from SEMA without linking up with the Ron Perkins dude.
Yeah, no, it was good that you stopped us as we're briefly passing by the Street Trucks booth to check stuff out.
Yeah, you guys gallivanted right past. You tried to gallivant past. Here's what I thought was pretty cool, though. You've had cover vehicles. We've established that in the past. You've had feature vehicles here, and then you've also worked, you know, with as a vendor. What's the experience like being able to come here without all of the tie down to a booth and things like that? Do you enjoy it more?
Yeah, it's different for sure, but each time I come, it's like I said, a little different, but I'm enjoying myself this time that I get to walk around and I have the freedom to do that where I don't have to take care of a truck or I don't have to work a booth. So, yeah, it's been really refreshing and real fun. The weather's fantastic out here, and we're just hanging out and having a good time.
Man, don't you wish the weather was like this when you came to Florida recently? Gosh, man, it's so nice right now. It kind of feels like AC out there. Now, speaking of Vegas, I do want to remind everyone that in about a half a year, we're going to be back here for Vegas for Mini Truck Showdown. It's going to be the first weekend in June. So it's June 3rd through June 5th, 2022. Make sure you follow Mini Truck Showdown on Facebook and Instagram. But when you're out here in Vegas, a lot of people think, the casinos, the drinking and all that stuff. But to me, to be able to come into SEMA, my mindset has been blown because since the last time I've been here, like outside, I've told people this before, you don't even have to have a pass to do all that outside stuff. You could literally spend a whole day or 2 days just going up in between all that and then over to the new West Hall.
Yeah, that was something that was pretty interesting, that new West Hall. We went over there and took a look at it, and it should make for a good SEMA for years to come over there in the new building. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and I forget who was telling me about this, about the Tesla thing. I knew about the Boring Company, Bore and all that stuff. The other day, they got me like a Miggity Mike the Mayor, right? Like he's going to do all these mods to the truck we always joke about. Well, the guy's like, yeah, you just go down this little deal, and there's a tunnel, and then you get in a Tesla vehicle, and then it drives you. And I was like, dude, has this guy been listening to some ODB, right? Chrome and frames and stuff.
Right.
Then I go, yeah, whatever. And he goes, what do you mean? I go, well, what do you mean? He goes, no, I'm telling you the truth. So we went down there, and sure enough, you could tape a damn Tesla underneath the ground. And, man, I tell you what, my back and my legs are loving
not having to walk. Yeah, we took it from the West Hall all the way over to the new South Hall, me and Geoff and Brent, and it definitely helped our feet getting a little break, and it was kind of fun. That's
good stuff. So, yeah, man, it really, really was awesome, and I just can't believe it. And we also saw at the Mini Truck Hall of Fame last night one of your Relax brothers. Someone tagged him, I think, Relax 702. Rock down to Electric Avenue. That just rhymes. I don't know how we did that. But you had that truck, that SUV on a shirt, and I got a chance to see it in person. Do the Fab Lab, I think, did a lot on that, if not all of it.
Right.
And it is so crazy to me to see the hood open and then that insane hardline air setup, and there's no engine.
Yeah, and actually Brent's Tesla was down there. I kind of did a quick count. We had Billy Bob's Datsun that we're looking at right now that we featured, the Tesla that we featured, Jimmy's, used to be Jimmy's Hummer was down at the
Hall of
Fame last night, and Brandon Burrell's Ram that we featured was here. So far we're up to 4 past features that we've seen here, and that's always exciting.
Yeah, HAMMERD weekendwear.com, hammeredweekendwear.com. You can go out there, you can check it out. And
hey, is that Mike Murray? Maybe we can get him over here and have him do a trivia question. Oh, no, it just looks like him.
Oh, no.
Mike's not Gallivan.
No, that guy.
Vegas.
That guy had a mullet. He got us for a second. We thought it was Mike. But seriously, man, it is always good. I've said this time and time again. I know you guys get sick of hearing it. I've seen you a lot this year, which is a good thing, east to west, just like Geoff. And it's pretty cool. We did audio with Geoff yesterday, and Geoff with Mini Garage is on the rise. So keep doing what you do.
Yeah, I appreciate it, and Geoff appreciates it. And I don't know if you mentioned it during the interview yesterday. Go check out Mini Garage. Watch the videos all the way to the end. He's trying to get the watch time up and the followers up. So hit subscribe and make sure you watch those videos. That helps him out a lot, and helps push him into a new bracket. So it's 100% free.
I gave him some ideas. I told him I can't always give the ideas away for free.
To do a Smurf commercial on Mini Garage?
I told him how he can get the views up,
Right.
I mean, Georgia, and
we're here in the city of the Sin City, so he can get some video here.
Georgia was out there last night.
Right.
And I said, hey, I was the one that named the episode Georgia on my mind. You know what I mean? She goes, yeah, that was a mic drop. So we're getting the tick marks in the binders here. We're checking the folders. We brought them out from Florida.
Right.
So we got mics. You see it's all shredded. You see it's just torn up.
Yeah, I noticed the one page where I'm creeping up on Dave DeCorver, so his tick mark is going down. I think I might have a shot at this.
Getting sideways like Chris Burns on Friday pulling out of CS Metalworks. No doubt. All right, Ron. Well, listen, have a good evening tonight, brother.
Yeah, you too, buddy.
Don't get too crazy.
All right, we out.
Hammered Weekend Wear. Check it out. All right, continuing coverage, SEMA 2021. Make sure you check the hashtag SEMA and also SEMA 2021. You'll get a chance to see all of the content creators and companies and everyone out here that's hashtagging that. And SEMA show has also upped their presence on social media, so they've been responding and commenting and liking and stuff like that. So it's good to see. Obviously, social media is a big piece of the world these days. So Check it out. We got another regular, a.k.a. the Booka. We actually just saw him gallivanting past. He was moonwalking. And I said, yo, Booka, come down here and let's chop it up. Dude, we haven't had a chance to hang out a lot, right, since we became friends years ago. So it was great seeing you, man. How you doing?
Oh, Jay, I'm doing great, man. And you know what? Let's just not lie about this, man. Last night was a blast.
Yeah, we had a good time, man. I tell you what. And I tell you that Peppermill restaurant, when we went in there, I want my house to be decorated like the lounge in there, dude.
You know, I told you guys yesterday, long story short, we went out there for a late breakfast, early lunch, and, well, it was, 45-minute wait that ended up turning about 2 hours.
Was it that long? And we didn't even realize
it. Was about
it.
2 hours, buddy. And you know, we spent it in that lounge back there, and there was, 8 of us?
Yeah, every time Ron walked away, Hank came back. And that's where, I'm wondering. I've never seen them in the same place at the same time, but he was throwing down the drinks, wasn't he?
Hell yeah, he was. You know, I don't know who picked up that bar tab, but man,
right.
And then when they called my name, because I was the one that put the name in, and who was number of people dining, and I'm like, oh yeah, we're gonna eat here,
right? Right.
I totally forgot that.
Get the big burger.
Yeah, but it was great. It was great to hang out with all my friends, and you especially, because you live on the other side of the country, and we talk a lot, a couple times a week, but it was great to hang out with my brother.
Being able to chop it up, I agree, bro.
And of course, last night at the Hall of Fame, and getting to see a bunch of other people that I don't get to see regularly, and meeting, actually putting faces to the names.
Oh yeah.
Like a little while ago, I got to meet Tony Moore.
Yes.
And and
Asphalt Army.
I've talked to him on Facebook and on social media, but that was the first time I met him face to face.
Great guy.
Oh, very nice guy.
Yep.
Very nice guy. So
you know what they say, Compton and Long Beach together, Severn and RA together, and now you're in trouble,
Hell yeah,
That's the way
brother.
I felt like last night.
Yeah, no doubt.
We got a chance to do a little bit of the live stream with Street Trucks that some of you, if you haven't had an opportunity, go out to YouTube, look up Street Trucks, obviously subscribe, and then check out some of the live streams, right? You can zip through them and whatnot, but we had you on, Ruben, for a couple minutes, and you have come here a long time. You've been a part of different companies. You and I have talked even, going back to the old Sir Michael days and things like that, the different companies that you've been a part of, Grillcraft and things like that. So coming here this year, we recently talked with you and Chris about getting the 72 out here, right? So that was a huge push. What's the difference between maybe coming here as a vendor and working long nighters to get something here?
Coming here as a vendor is a little bit different, or an exhibitor, I rather say, is a little different than coming here as a spectator, I guess, or as a featured show vehicle exhibitor. Coming here as an exhibitor is work. You're here got to be here a little before 9, and you leave here right at 5 or whatever, and then
shaking hands, kissing babies, all that.
Answering questions, whatnot, talking about product, and then of course you leave here, and in my experience, I worked with these two wonderful guys. I worked for probably the best bosses, well, next to Chris,
sure,
that I could actually hope for, and they were always like, well, we got to go do dinner, then we got to go do drinks,
and
then we have to go visit this library, and there's a church that we have to go see, and before you know it, it's 4, 5 o'clock in the morning,
right,
and you got to come back
in a couple hours.
So there's that. And then, well, of course, like I said before, like I said on the podcast last time I was on with Chris, to be here with him to unveil that ice cream truck, it's just, I don't know, man. It's just, the guy's like my brother, and I'm honored just to be a part of that.
I love hearing it, and something we always hear, like you'll hear this a lot when someone says, man, the photos don't do something justice. Like, you can look at that 72 van that you guys put so much, I know Ludacris powder coating was involved as well. You guys put so much time and effort into it, and like you see it in the photo, but like when I look in the rear hatch and I see all of the powder coat and the stainless lines and the brake lines and everything, and even the backs of the where the brakes mount to the axle, right? it is just so clean, right? It just has that, like, literally it's like fresh off the printing press. And I think truly with that build, it's one that, like, I'm so glad I got to see it in person. You know what I mean? And I know, like, there's a couple little things you guys got to do, but it by all means, it's not a thrown together, Sema build. You know what I mean? It's legit, dude. And you guys had that thrash at the end, as we talked about the other night for last week. But to me, it still is it's a rock solid build.
Thank you. And thank you for that. That means a lot. And we did have our challenges. She fought us. She fought us along the way. And, the one thing that we all decided at the shop, everybody working on it, we were not going to push that thing in.
Right.
We were going to drive her in.
Yep.
I would say she's probably about 90% done, and we got to go back and finish a couple of things and adjust a couple of things.
Small stuff that we would never notice,
Right. If I pointed things out to you, okay, you would see it. But
talk to us real quick about the name of it, because I love being able to nickname a homie. But I also like to be able to come up with, with like Project Smuggler's Blues, like it tied into something my dad and I love, Glenn Frey's song, Miami Vice era. But the name of this might topple everything I've ever heard.
Okay, well, it means, La Bochona means, all right, if you look it up on Google, it's slang for like a drug dealer cartel girlfriend or wife, kind of like
the motorcycle guys will call someone, their gal, like their old lady.
Right.
It's the slang for.
It's a slang for that. Someone, with one of the guys' girlfriends with all the jewelry and the fake breasts and whatnot. Over just, that's what that is.
Yeah, and it kind of ties into like, the cartel and things like that. And to me, it's just a cool name. It has that lowrider vibe. I don't know a lot about wire wheels, right? I know Tony Wells Bowen had chimed in on one of your posts and said you had me at the cross-lace wheels. The cross-lace wheels, I think that's like a certain wheel, I believe, that they do in the lowrider world. That's what's on that truck,
right?
Or the SUV van,
right? 13x7 reverse, I believe. Again, I'm not really too familiar with those, but yeah.
Sick, man.
And they're Luxor wire wheels. That van was supposed to be in Luxor Wheels booth.
Yep.
And they backed out the very last minute, but we were able to get it in under them and Sema. Well,
awesome.
Because this is a special year. But that was something that Chris and the owner had worked on and whatnot. But again, it wasn't my. I don't think I would build anything like that for myself, but I'm over the moon ecstatic on the way it's turned out. And not only that, but the way it's been taken by people here. Not only my friends, but just the general public.
Sure. I was blown away. The one thing I wanted to mention, I love the interior. That seat material that kind of goes on the outside of it almost reminds me of something you'd see in a boat. Right? I remember seeing boats with that. I love that material. I love how it's incorporated in on vehicles, especially a lowrider. You or Chris mentioned to me the whole body is powder coated, like a high temp powder coating, something similar to what I've heard of people talking about a higher end powder coating, and I kind of always thought, well, like powder coat's powder coat. And he mentioned, Ken Diggett, obviously they build some of the craziest stuff in the world. It's something similar to what they use, even higher temp and things like that. When you come up on it, you can't even tell, but to me, I think that's a cool aspect of it.
Right, and it still needs to be cut and buffed.
Wow,
the frame was cut and buffed, and it's a gloss black, and when we get back, we have somebody that's going to be coming over and doing that. So I mean, there'll be a lot of that will be smoothed out and buffed out. But yeah, it's kind of amazing. You wouldn't think that anyone would be doing that, but it's something new, that people are starting to do.
Let's switch subjects and talk about the Mini Truck Hall of Fame last night. Right, you're the perfect guy for me to just have this quick discussion. The third time I've been, okay, Bob Hayes does, no matter what anyone says, he puts a lot of time and effort in. That stage had to be set up. He has to line up a lot of stuff. Right, brings together good people. One of our sister clubs, we could call it Negative Camber. Right, we both know a lot of people in that club. They're well respected. Mrs. Hollowell was there, as you know. They get voted in. Bob went over the names again but that sticks out to me last night. Not taking anything away from any of the inductees, but just negative camber as a crew, as a club, as the unclub. The captain was there. I think he accepted it. What an amazing night, dude.
Oh, most definitely. And, not only that, but Courtney Hollowell was also inducted as media. And Maggie was there.
Yes.
And to have the club that he founded inducted and
the same year,
the
same
same night. That just, again, to me, that's kind of like Courtney upstairs kind of getting all that, rounded up, having it done, in a sense. But no, it was an incredible night for those guys. And like you said, we have a lot of close friends in that club and that group. And I'm happy for them. There are a lot of good people in that club.
Yeah, and Bob, obviously you got to keep things, you kind of put a little bit of a time limit, not really sticking to it, but it kind of gave people the mindset like, hey, it's formal, but it's informal. Let's have fun with it. Heard some funny jokes and things like that. And got to see some good people. A lot of other people came out, different folks from different, clubs and industries and stuff. But also what sticks out to me is, Shannon. He doesn't get enough credit for the fact that Freaks of Nature hosts what they call like the unofficial, I think, kickoff party to SEMA, right? So it's Monday night, and it's a perfect venue for the Mini Truck Hall of Fame. But Shannon and Freaks of Nature, that was kind of their thing, I think, even before the Hall of Fame. So to see Shannon get up there, it's always good seeing that dude, ain't it?
Oh, I love the guy. I've been coming to that kickoff party since the very get-go, since before the Hall of Fame. And Shannon, I love him. Class act all the way.
Yep.
And for his club to host that says a lot about that man. And all together the guys and gals in that club, class act in my book.
Class act, I love it. Think about this. We've had a lot of people, definitely with your help. I always give credit where credit's due. You've helped us a lot over the years, make connections with guys and ladies that I never would have thought in a million years we'd be able to have on, right? It's a group effort, as you know. We call you the Booka, but you help us a lot. Sal Napoli was there. I got a chance to meet him real quick and slap hands. It was really cool because the dude that introduced him had framed all 4 of his covers, and he brought up a very good point. And I for a truck to be on the cover 4 times in like a feature, not just a little small photo, but then also mixed between Mini Truck and Truckin. I mean, just with that truck alone, his legacy was cemented, right? Of course, he brought 4 vehicles out last night, including that red one, which I just love. Dude, you'd be hard-pressed to find another hardcore guy as Sal Napoli, and what an honor for him to get in for Smooth Character, I think it was. I think there was some confusion if it was Smooth Criminal or Smooth Character. But you're a smooth criminal.
Well, hey. I can't dance, but
right.
Hey, well, thank you.
Yeah.
Maybe I could do the little lean thing, but face first on the floor.
You could do
maybe.
the nene or whatever.
Yeah, whatever. But no, that's a great night for Sal, and dude, he deserves it. I mean, who else has ever come close to tearing the same vehicle apart and getting to the caliber where it could be on the cover of a magazine?
Yeah, and when we had him on, and it, I always think back to that episode, it kind of clicked whenever I realized, oh, yeah, that's right, it was on, oh, that was this, oh, yeah, it had those crazy peach wheels, and it just was insane. But, congratulations to all of the inductees. I mean, definitely not taking anything away from anyone. Those guys and ladies, they deserve it, and it's good to get together. Bob and Radar and I, we had a funny conversation afterwards, and we think back to so many great times, right? And I hope that the Hall of Fame, I hope that Mike and I and the whole committee, I hope that we can continue to grow it in any way that we can, even if it's just through awareness. What I really love is, again, I mentioned this before in hip-hop, they always say, give these hip-hop guys their flowers while they're here. You know what I mean? If someone's great and they're a true enthusiast of hip-hop, like a Tretch from Naughty by Nature and these guys, don't wait till they pass away to go, oh, they were the great, one of the greats. So I think if we translate that into the mini truck world and our scene, let's try to give as many people their dues while they're here. You know what I'm saying? So, that's one thing I'm going to continue to push with Bob and say, hey, man, granted, I know not everybody can get in. And there's always, it's like the NFL Hall of Fame. You got a guy that maybe wasn't a first ballot, but he's going to get in. I just want to continue to see trucks and people and companies get patched in, so to speak, because to me it's an important thing.
Right. No, I totally agree. I have my personal views and opinions about it, and I am pro Hall of Fame. I have a real bad problem with people that knock it.
Yeah.
Because here is a man, Bob, that is trying to do something good, and I don't like the negativity that some people throw at him, and I think it's a good thing, and I think people should embrace it. And I've shared this with you, and I think I brought it up at the dinner last night or sometime yesterday with you guys, and I want to see a female inducted. I know we had Jen Lacey, last night. Rest in peace.
Thank you for bringing that up.
And
Shane from Vivid Reality did her introduction. Yep.
Right, and and Jimmy was there, and
yep.
But I honestly would like to see a female. I think it's time to get one of these ladies in there.
It's a great point, and I'm not can't argue with you on that. Obviously, I've gotten feedback from some people like, hey, what about this? Like good feedback, feedback that you want to get, even like that. I would also encourage, like if someone, like maybe like when Bob mentioned recently, even if you can't sponsor or maybe a whole thing, get with us, get with Bob. Maybe we can work something out. And, get with Bob or, get with I'm going to try to talk to Bob and see, like, can we do some partial type things? Like maybe you got a couple companies like an all-time low, like a Garage Gear. Some of those guys that go, well, hey, I want to do like a smaller chunk. What can I do? And then you get 3 or 4 companies together, then boom. So there's that opportunity. But I do want to I don't want to give out the person's name. Someone listened to the last episode and hit me up and goes, hey, get me in contact with Bob. I don't want any credit. I want to sponsor next year.
Wow.
So it shows the reach that we have. This person knows who I'm talking about. He's a good dude. He's got a good heart. And, he's a true mini trucker. He knows, he knows his stuff. So, but listen, man, as we kind of wrap this piece up with you, Ruben, again, thank you for all the stuff you've done over the years. I mean, you've done a lot of cool things, and the chapter of your legacy right now, you still have so much more to do, right? You got the 1500 that you still want to finish. You've got other stuff, but to me, being able to do and partner with us, I can't wait to see what we maybe have coming up next, in the next few months. But I'm excited for it, and I thank you again for always looking out for us, trying to get us exclusives, giving us good stories, because a lot of that stuff is much appreciated. You know what I mean? So we want to reciprocate when we can.
Jay, thank you, and Mike, and everyone that listens and has come up to me and said, hey, I like when you're on, and I like your stories and whatnot. I it encourages me to continue doing this, and I do it for the scene. I do it because I enjoy it. And there's going to be way more to come, people. So, just keep tuned.
I just want to see you come off the top ropes with a double backflip right on the mic. And for the 1 and 2, and boom, he's out of here. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, if that doesn't work, we'll have to go for like a cage match. We'll have to see. But, Billy Bob's over here. He's laughing. He's having a good time. And everything is good here. I tell you what, Vegas, this time of year, beautiful weather. I would just say stick with us here. We're going to continue this episode, and appreciate you guys listening.
We out.
Yo, so we're continuing our coverage here. We spoke to some of our homies, and it's been an awesome day. As of the time of this recording, it's Wednesday afternoon, so basically we had Sunday, Monday kind of set up, Tuesday full blast. Today is kind of day 2 of the regular show. Getting trammed in the morning, and man, it's just it really is overwhelming, especially with the West Hall that they basically built. Talked to a few people. They said it's a couple-year project or so. As big as the place is, I mean, it's hard to imagine the amount of work that goes into to producing that building over there. But I think one of the coolest things for me so far, and if you watch the Street Trucks live stream, specifically the one that was posted on Wednesday, which is the 3rd. You'll see that we actually had an opportunity. Ruben, Arteaga, shout out to him. You heard him earlier. He helped us, and we went in the boring tunnel. So Boring Company, Boring, that's part of the whole Elon Musk craziness of, Tesla, SpaceX, and then there's the Boring Company. I first heard of them years ago talking about, they're going to have this adventurous project to help alleviate traffic like in Los Angeles and other places, and that's about as much as I had heard. I was like, yeah, I can imagine the amount of work and bureaucracy that has to be able to go into that. Well, basically, we were able to show, like, going down the escalator, getting in the Tesla car. There's different models. I think we were in a Model 3 today. Cruise through the tunnel. It's about a mile. And talked to a couple people. They said like a year or two or so to build it. But I've only went from Central. I think we're in Central Hall to the west, and then the west back to Central. I haven't had a chance to go over to the other, but I guess when you come out of it, they do ask you where you're going, so they can go either way. They can go over to the north, or they can go to the west. So it's pretty cool stuff. Today, when I rode back from the west, I got in as a single rider. 2 people in the back. I was in the front, and they basically were going all the way to the next stop, but they stopped there, dropped me off. So it's pretty cool on how they do it. I just think it's awesome. So that's been pretty awesome. But overall, real successful with the live stream. We did a lot of content, and Eddie Sabreco, he helped as well. He did a lot of the talking, which was good. We were at some of the unveilings, which was awesome. We went by United Pacific, and that was cool because Ronnie and the whole Truck Talk Media family, these guys have built just an awesome little, a thing of theirs that they get together, they do this unveiling, kind of a re-unveiling, and they all hang out and mingle and just chill for a couple hours. So that was awesome. Today, I got a chance to walk around and see some other cool stuff. I'm going to try to get some audio with James here in a couple minutes. He built one of the sickest vehicles I've seen here, and it's something totally different. If you look at Street Truck social media, we had shared a video of a Jeep, and it's a Gladiator, and this thing is basically mini truck style, right? It looks like a dually. It's laid out. It's got air suspension. I think it's insane. So we'll talk to him hopefully in a couple minutes. Met a lot of good people. So even some older gentlemen that came by the Street Trucks Engaged Media booth, a guy named Mick, another guy as well. And the one guy said, hey, man, I've been at SEMA. I went to the first SEMA in 67. And it got me thinking when I did the audio, I think a year ago, talking about SEMA, I mentioned that it started in 63, and he said, well, technically it formed in 63, but there really wasn't a first official event until 67, which makes sense because the 50th anniversary was in 2017. So that's how that kind of stuff was spun. As far as mini trucks, as far as I know, and I walked around with some homies today, including Tony Boss Bolin, basically you have Chad Lukes outside, so you heard from Chad, Scorpion Coatings. You have Billy Bob's in the Engaged Media, repping Relaxed Atmosphere. The only other mini truck that I saw through AccuAir social media is an S10, and we're going to share a video of it. And this S10 is over in the North Hall in the Battle of the Builders section. And this S10 is actually pretty badass. It looks like Instagram is Dayton Jacobson 55. And, dude, this thing is just, I mean, it really, really, really has a lot of detail work in it. Ron's sitting here looking at some of the photos, scrolling through them, and I tell you, ran into Justin over there that, has been on the podcast before and just chopping it up with Chris and Ruben as we walked through. And, man, we kneeled down, took a look at this thing, and really just were like, wow, man, it really is a nice mini truck. So it is cool. The sunroof was insane. Justin, who had the white Ford F-350 Benoit, he had mentioned to me the sunroof in it, and I was like, dude, it just looks sick. So I think the biggest surprise for me, just kind of thinking through how the last couple of days have went, is the fact that there haven't been a lot of OBS trucks. So we've seen this surge in the OBS, as we always talk about OBS on the rise, but there's really not a lot of them here. Now, I haven't went through and counted specifically and that type of thing. I know Chris Stafford, he of course has the one there, and we got a little bit of that on the live stream, but there's not a whole bunch of them. The really cool thing, though, is Roadster Shop. So I shared a video, Street Truck shared one as well. Really, kind of the talk of this whole area over here has been their 88 to 98 chassis. Dude, you talk about detail, a lot of detail in this thing, right? To me, big fan of the 80s, love the colors, love the music. Dude, amazing. Not sure how the production's going to look in it, right? I mean, obviously, it's not going to come with, probably all those details and all that, right? But from a display standpoint and kind of a presence of, hey, we're here, check this out, dude, insane. Really awesome. What that whole business model is just insane. And again, if you go back, watch the live stream, Eddie talked to them a little bit, talking about different Camaros and just different options that they have. It's really mind-blowing that you can literally just buy something through the web or call someone and order it and then have it shipped to a place that has a forklift or access to a forklift. So that's pretty cool. There's just been a lot of good connections that we've made out here that I've made, and I certainly appreciate that. One of those is Big Oak Garage. So it's, I think, technically Will Posey is how you say it. And they're right next to us with their Cadillac build and kind of pushing the Hush Mat. I think that's technically the Hush Mat booth. This Cadillac is amazing. The connection that I have here is just my friend, rendered by Thor. So Jake, who you guys have heard in the past if you've been a long-time listener, as well as you've heard me talk about and plug him. I love what Rendered by Thor does in terms of the hand-drawn renderings. He works for that shop now. So he moved from Florida, and he is up in Alabama. It's, I think, Hoax Bluff, Alabama, and it's Will Posey, Big Oak Garage. And it was pretty cool. I saw Courtney Hansen. I know she's got a connection to their shop as well, I think with a TV show that they had filmed in the past. But overall, like, dude, I mean, this car, a lot of different key companies, including like Vintage Air, Ride Tech, Chop and Block. A lot of companies came together, Advanced Plating Chrome. Just an amazing, amazing build. There's a lot of cars, a lot of hot rods. The Miranda built lineup is right next door to the Hush Mat, and Eddie Sabreco and I went through earlier with the Street Trucks live stream, and we talked a little bit about the Apache there. Insane truck. The older lady, the older gal, she was there. Her and her husband own it. Insane, really awesome. Talking to some of the people that have been here every year religiously, they've kind of said that, hey, they do tend to think there's a little less vendors. It's hard to really tell, but one thing that people have also reinforced is with the new West Hall across the way, a lot of those vendors that used to be in the back, like even West Coast Customs with that whole experience, a lot of that stuff is over there. So I really think the whole Tesla Boring Company underground deal has been a big help to get people over there, because I think the average person is going to want to spend their time in these other halls. There's so much to see, and to walk over there, even across the street, is, it's a little bit of a hike. But of course, getting in the electric vehicle and zooming over there, I think it definitely helped to bring people over to the West Hall. So if you haven't came to SEMA, I would highly suggest that you find a way to make it out here. Bucket list type thing. I know Tony Boss Boland's here, the big homie, my brother, and it's his first time here, and we were trying to walk around together, and it's just like you can't. One person stops, or you want to look at this, or you see someone and hey, I got Ronnie from Truck Talk Media. He cruised by, and I just gave you props a few minutes ago about how you bring the C10 Nation together. United Pacific, that was amazing, dude. I really appreciate what you do, bro.
OLP, guys, keep grinding, and honestly, we talk about it. Mike the Mayor, what's up? Glad you're really not here doing anything, probably delivering mail. The bottom line is this community is built on the backs of just giants, and it's what it's all about. And you, myself, and a few other folks, we're just able to get behind a mic and bring it together, and really it's about uniting the people. That the metal has brought us together, but the friendships and the relationships. And when you come to SEMA, it's no different, man. We had the C10 Nation thing today. You guys are grinding with street trucks right now, OLP, and you think about the journey. And I think I was traveling here the other day, and I was like, dude, I think you just dropped like episode 270s. Yes, I was like, holy crap, dude. Like, dude, it's blowing. So it's like, well, I shouldn't say blowing. Sorry, OLP fans. Hard blowing. But no, it's what it's all about. You keep doing your thing, and together we're just going to, just keep putting out great pod. So you guys keep tuning in, Miggity Mike. Truck Talk Media. Truck Talk Media is on the rise. All right, brother. Thanks.
Yeah, Ronnie, thanks so much, dude. I really appreciate that, man. That's the cool thing when you're at SEMA and you got someone coming by, kind of pat you on the head, and you go, yeah, man. But I kind of forget where my thought process was a few minutes ago because we were chopping it up. But I'll just sum it up and say, man, it has been fantastic. Again, if you haven't ever made it out here, try to come out. The next best thing I could tell you is, in terms of coming to Vegas is going to be the first weekend in June next year with Mini Truck Showdown. And, of course, they've got the Kern County Showdown as well, which is going to be in February. But we're certainly looking forward to that. I'd like to maybe talk next week a little bit about the Mini Truck Hall of Fame. That went really well. Shout out to Bob Hayes. Shout out to all of the inductees. I got a chance to meet Sal Napoli, who came on before, so that was awesome. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and cut away. I think we're going to have some more audio, and we're going to keep this episode going, our SEMA 2021. We're doing all of the audio on site here. Keep it posted to OLP social media and stay on the rise. We're going to keep this one going. Hey, so as I mentioned, we're going to continue our coverage here of SEMA 2021. I got a chance to meet a mini trucker by the name of James, a Canadian. How you doing, my brother?
I'm all right, man. It's nice to meet you.
Dude, nice meeting you. When I had a chance to go over to the West area, the West Hall, outside, I was chopping it up with Ruben and those guys, and I saw... Talk to us a little bit about what I saw there, this amazing Jeep.
So what we did is we took a 2020 Jeep Gladiator base model Sport, and we converted it into a bagged dually laying frame.
Dude, this thing, I'm sure you've already experienced this. Street Truck shared it on social media, and you look at the comments, a lot of people are like, wow, that's awesome. But then you got some comments from, there's always going to be the haters, right? And you've definitely hurt some feelings with this one.
I don't know if we've hurt some feelings or made feelings. I'm not sure which one of the two it is, but the reaction has been unbelievable.
Talk to us a little bit about, you're the builder, so the owner comes to you, and you're a mini trucker, right?
Yes.
So how did that formulate?
So it wasn't me personally as a one-team builder.
Yep.
So what happened was I've known Jag for about 9 years.
He's the owner.
He's the owner. And he has an 08 JK that he bagged and brought it here in 2016.
Okay.
And he thought he was the shit when he came down. And he came here and he came home and he says to me, I don't know what the fuck I was thinking.
It's fine.
And he says, we have to fix this. I said, well, what do you want to do? He says, I need to make it as low as you can. I said, well, you got to rip the front axle out. He says, I'm not doing that. I said, all right. So that truck stayed as it was. Fast forward to 2020 and 2019, actually, he bought the the Gladiator to build.
Just basically stock four-door Jeep, and you said it was kind of a base model.
He ordered it with as little options as he could.
Okay.
He knew that it was going to get cut up, and it was going to be not much left of stock of anything for drivetrain, suspension, so forth. So him and his friends, they have a skill level that they know they have. They bought a Fat Fabs independent 1500 Ram front-end suspension for it. They conquered that.
Really?
They did it themselves. They did a very good job on it. A few phone calls here and there.
Sure.
Then he got to the back, and he says, I have no idea how to make this work. He's like, I know you know how to do it. You're going to come on board. Will you help me? I said, sure, I'll help you. So initially, I told him, I'll come in, I'll build you a back half, and I'll let you go.
Yep.
You were able to do the front end with the Fat Fabs, you'll be able to do the back.
Okay.
That was 16 and a half months ago. I hadn't left the build from the day that I started.
Really?
And that was one day after my anniversary. And my wife says, when are you going to be done? And I said, well, when it's done, it's done.
Yeah, you can go on and follow James. That's number 83, and then the word DAY, day, 83 day, and then number 2, night, NITE, 83 day to night. James, you're a mini trucker by heart. I know you're S10. I looked you up on Instagram. I was following you. The S10's insane. You've got the tilt bed. I think it's Range Rover headlight or taillights.
Yeah, 2006.
You're no
HSE.
stranger to doing this kind of work, right?
No, not at all. I mean, I was 13 years old and I got my first mini trucking magazine. And
Nice.
I said, it's from that day on, there was no turning back.
I love it.
And it took me 32 years to achieve my mini truck, and it's still not done.
Yeah, mini truckers, our stuff's rarely ever finished. When you deal with doing this kind of work, like, is this your day job? Is this
No.
like a side hustle, right?
I'm a machinist by trade. I work 7:30 till 4 every day as a machinist. On the side, I also own a construction contracting business. So I work a lot in order to get what I got,
Day to night.
now I have to squeeze in this Gladiator build.
Yeah, it wasn't easy.
So the Gladiator build for me was a Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday situation, and that Tuesday would be from, say, 4 p.m. until 10 to 12, somewhere in there. Thursday would be rinse, repeat, the same, and
Sure.
then Saturday would be from 6 until like 11, 12 o'clock at night. So I did that with Jag and a couple other guys for 16 months to get it to where it is.
Yeah, and that's the thing that always gets me. Like, a lot of people look at it and go, oh, it's dumb, right? It's just quick, boom, they're on to the next thing. They don't understand all the work that goes into it. We've all seen hacked up stuff. When I looked at this thing, I mean, with the bed liner in it, the compressors, the rear suspension, I mean, everything in it is basically a mini truck with the Jeep body is the way I see it, right? Because it has that mini truck flair to it. That's what I don't think people understand. So I was appreciative of I'm always appreciative if somebody goes, it's not my thing, but I appreciate the work that's in it. Say that, you know what I mean? Don't be like, oh, it's, the stupid comments out there. But it's engaging, and it's gotten a lot of people, hint, hint, we're the Engaged Media booth. It's engaging, and it's got people, their antennas are up, and they're commenting on it.
Yes, I was very surprised at what people positive had to say about it. And as you said, a lot of guys have come by and they're like, I'm a Jeep guy, but this, I just can't stop looking at it. I don't know why. I don't like it, but I can't stop looking at it. And I said, you know what? I take it. I said, obviously there's something here that's caught your eye, and I get that it's not your thing because Jeep World is a small community. They like their things a certain way. I get it.
Lifts and big wheels and tires.
I get it. And for me as a mini trucker, I need them laying on the ground as low as they can go. And I appreciate the lifted ones, but for me, it's got to go on the ground.
Yeah, definitely. I think it has airlift on it, right?
Airlift,
air management. To tie in, when I talked to Ryan earlier from AccuAir, right, obviously a competitor, but here's the thing. They have a Bronco in there, and it airs out. He had a good point. He's like, some vehicles can't get into like an airport, right? But you can air it down and things like that. I think it's an untapped market. Do I think it's going to be as big as the air suspension stuff we've seen from mini truckers? I don't know. But with these Broncos and these Jeeps and stuff, I mean, there's a huge aftermarket, as you know. So I think it's maybe an untapped market. So we'll have to see. But obviously what you have is full, what you've done coming in as a partner on this project is a full-blown, custom
mini truck.
job. And
it's a mini truck.
And it's sick, dude.
And I'm going to get flack from that word, but to me, it's a mini truck. Yeah. I mean, it is as physically low as it possibly can go.
I don't disagree.
Truck. It's laying frame on the ground, mini truck. It has a Dodge dually axle that we took 14 and a half inches out of in order to make it fit within the space that we wanted it to fit. It has a full back half custom built, full front independent suspension, custom built. The Fat Fabs guy said that it was not going to work. Essentially, they didn't want to sell it to us. We said, please sell it. They said, we're not sure. We don't want slack. They bought it, put it in, turned out it worked. Yes, there was a lot of modifying to the Fat Fabs kit in order to make it work.
But it helped to get it going, right? Because, building that stuff from scratch is not easy.
Without it, it would probably be outside of my realm as what I can build. Their kit is phenomenal to work with. It had 99% of what we needed. We had to tweak what we needed to make it work, be it, cut down factory tie rod ends, remachine the left-hand threads on them, remachine the right-hand threads on them, make custom sleeves in order to make them work. It's what we had to do.
Yeah, it's way over my knowledge. You got 99 problems, but a Jeep ain't one. That's for sure.
That 100%. I like that.
I definitely love the project. It caught my eye. I appreciate meeting you because you were like, yo, OLP, you were down there by Ruben and Chris, and they, of course, moved you guys a little bit. It's a long trek. How long did it take you to get here as far as the transport?
So for transportation, it's a 33-hour transportation drive straight. We personally weren't able to bring it. We had to bring it in commercially.
And that helps, too, crossing the border right now with all the craziness and stuff.
Yes. To get it back, it's got to go back the same way.
Yep.
So transporting it here and getting it here was a mission. It took us about 6 weeks of getting all the paperwork, all the documents, the stress level when it left the building on the 20th of
October. Is it going to get there, issues and things like that.
And then it sat in the facility until the 26th of October. And I'm like, this Jeep needs to start moving.
Yeah. Well, James, it's been a pleasure. I'm going to do everything I can to get Street Trucks to shoot it. I talked to Chris a couple times. Dude, I love the project. I see the detail. You showed me some of it. It's truly extraordinary, and to me, it's something different from the norm, so I certainly appreciate you sitting down with us a few minutes. I wish you safe travels back to Canada, we appreciate you guys. There's a lot of good guys and ladies up there, and stay on the rise, brother.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I very honored to meet you guys down here. Like I said when I met you, I knew who you were, but you didn't know who I was. But
well, then when you told me day to night, and then I was like, I remembered it was I think an extended cab S10. So then I went on my Instagram. I was like, yep, I'm following them, and then biggity boom right there.
Yep, and I appreciate everything you've done, everything you're going to do. I appreciate it all. Thank you very much.
Yeah, shout out to all of our Canadian listeners. We've had a bunch on. Even Lucky's a good dude. Talked to him a good bit. There's a lot of good kinfolk up there from Sever to NC to even folks that aren't in clubs. So stay on the rise, my brother. Safe travels, getting everything back, and hopefully we'll talk in the next day or so with Street Trucks.
Thank you very much.
We got you. On to the next one. Hey, so we're continuing our coverage, and I keep wanting to say the last day. We're actually on day 3, which is Thursday. And I'm going to walk around and do some audio with some folks. And I ran into Michelle Boone from RA. How you doing, Michelle?
Good. How are you?
Good. How are you enjoying the show so far this year?
It's a good show so far. A lot of walking, a lot of pictures.
Definitely. I did see you both, you and Dustin, at the Mini Truck Hall of Fame.
Correct.
Did you guys have a good time?
Yeah, we had a blast there.
Yep. It's cool stuff. There's a lot of inductees. I know you guys have a connection to a lot of folks, including Drop 'Em Where. It was cool to see John and Jen inducted in. And what was the vibe for you guys there?
We wanted to go because of John and Jen, and also for Booger Bash, where Chuck got inducted also.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. And I was happy to see, Jen Lacey receive the Memorial Award, which I thought was awesome. Jimmy and Shane came out from Florida. And I got to just tip the cap to Bob Hayes. He really does a lot of stuff to get the stage set up, to have all of that stuff kind of coordinated, the rings. And, of course, getting the people there is probably not an easy task.
Yeah.
Now, what do you have in store? I know the end of the year is coming up. I want to talk a little bit more about SEMA, but what are you most excited about going into next year?
Next year, the first show will be Eastbound and Get Down for us to help Mike out and, of course, cover for All Time Low.
Awesome. And All Time Low, I always remind people it's atlmagazine.com. You shoot a lot of coverage and features. How awesome is that?
I love it. I love what I do, and I love to shoot pictures and different cars and find out the stories behind the cars.
Yeah, it's awesome. When you guys, have you kind of been able to make your way through most of the halls and stuff?
Yeah, we've pretty much in 2 days we've covered the whole show.
What's is there one thing that maybe sticks out for you? I mean, obviously there's a lot of stuff, but is there just one thing that you're like, oh, that's pretty cool, or that you took an extra couple minutes to shoot with your camera?
Probably Ernie's Impala, and of course Chad Luke's Tacoma is my favorite, and I'm trying to think, and also the Gladiator Dually.
I know, right? So get this. I got a chance to talk with James, who was the builder. You guys heard that audio earlier, and that thing is stirring up some controversy because of the fact that it's a Jeep, right? and they always say it's a Jeep thing. Well, hey, I guess it's not a Jeep thing with that. That's got a lot of love and a lot of hate on social media. But being that we're mini truckers, you obviously know that it has that mini trucker flair. It's, on the ground. It has all of the nice hardline work. It's got Viator compressors and stuff, so that's pretty cool. Chad's, I'm with you there. And rest in peace to Ernie. I mean, when I first saw the car, I just was kind of there, speechless.
Yeah.
It truly was awesome. I love the colors of it. What was your favorite aspect of the car, having got a chance to walk around it?
I think a lot of the airbrush work and the detail and the airbrush work. And, of course, pink. It's one of my favorite colors.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and I'm hoping I can link up with Steve Wilk and just, I did talk to him, but I'd love to do some audio with him. I mean, it's just an amazing car. You can find more photos of it. #low64SS and check that out. And the interior's amazing. It's pretty cool. But how long are you guys going to be in town for?
We should be leaving out Sunday night at midnight.
Awesome. And you guys, in the evening times, do you find yourselves doing shows or anything here, or do you mostly kind of hang out with most of the knuckleheads down on Fremont Street?
Actually, we've been hanging out with his boss. His shop has a truck upstairs in the buyback booth, so we've been up there with them.
Very cool, very cool. Well, it's awesome to see you guys out here. I appreciate you taking a minute. I know you represent for all ladies in the truck scene, but you're doing the damn thing for All Time Low magazine, repping RA. So once again, congrats on getting patched in there, and just keep doing what you do. Can we get Dustin to say just a hello, maybe?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, we can get him to say, how you doing, Dustin?
How's it going?
Good to see you, brother. Hey, you're a big supporter. You've helped us a lot. When you come to shows, you've helped traffic, memorabilia in and things like that. So we certainly appreciate you, bro.
No problem. Appreciate everything y'all do.
Keep doing what you do, man. It was great to see you guys out here. And, we're going to continue our coverage here of SEMA 2021. And this episode will be out, so we'll keep our streak going. It'll be out on Friday. So we're continuing our coverage here at SEMA 2021, and I ran into Brandon. He came over to the Engage Media booth, and what was awesome is I had just shared an F100 earlier on Street Trucks Instagram, and he started talking about it. It's electric, and I was putting 2 and 2 together, and I was like, oh, snap, is it this one? Dude, thank you so much.
Absolutely. Glad to be here.
For coming on. I can't believe, dude, you got this badass build here that's up in the Ford booth. Talk to us a little bit about your shop.
Well,
sorry, fine.
We've been in the industry for quite a while. Grew up, back in the late '80s doing mini trucks, and it just fuels the passion for what we do. And you can never really take that away. And you just every project, you try to push harder and harder to be better at what you do.
Yeah, and Brandon, you were kind of talking about how you had a truck back in the day. Tell us a little bit about that one that still pops up today in feeds.
That truck is pretty iconic. I built it originally before the jungle, I think in the late 80s, and it was a standard axle Toyota, 1980, and it was, the typical 80s theme with the mint green and the pink splash.
Right.
And then, hanging around with mini truckers, having some beers and stuff, and then someone dares you to do a tandem conversion before the next show, and then, and you're like, well, guess what? I'm going to show up with a 4-axle Toyota and blow their minds, right? And I did. And I drove that thing all around. I drove it to some shows in SoCal. Tito did a construction zone thing down at Bonton Vans back in the day. So it's been around. I still have it, but you get so busy with work and family, and it's like you're not in your 20s anymore. Right.
You can't do all-nighters. But speaking of all-nighters, heard you talking to Ron and Billy Bob here a few minutes ago. The F100, to me, I'm blown away when I walk in the Ford booth every year because it's so expansive. But then when you shared with me that the F100 that you guys built is up there and it's electric, talk to us about how that came about.
So Ford commissioned a company called MLE Racing Vehicles. They built a 1,400 horsepower electric Cobra Jet Mustang that did 825s at 169 just this weekend at the Strip.
Wow.
And so they commissioned these guys, and they're like, okay, we got to find the truck. And it was right before Labor Day, and they everybody around said if anybody's going to be able to pull something like this off, it's going to be the guys over at Brand X Customs.
Wow.
So,
and we're talking Labor Day this past September.
Yeah. We didn't even have the truck.
Wow.
We didn't know what we were going to get. And it finally came in. It was supposed to be a restored truck that just needed a little bit of work. And then and just touch up some things, and that was going to be it. But when the truck came in, it was like, there's no way that this is going to be.
It's one of those that
Ford's going to say, get this out of my face.
Right.
And it's not going to be good for anybody who's working on this project. So we were working with MLE Racing. They contact us. You guys have got to do this. I'm like, I really can't. I'm booked up. You got.
So they were under the gun. So then it falls downstream. Now, so were you guys did the paint and body, or like, and then they did the electric piece? Is that how it worked?
They were cutting up the Mustangs, the Mach-E's, and feeding me body parts as they could. The roadster shop got us the frame 5 weeks ago.
Really?
And I was doing body work, then I had to get it all done. I painted everything, and then I had to assemble the whole truck. And then the last 2 weeks of it was just doing all the details and Cerakoting the trim and doing all the final assembly.
Holy crap, that's not an easy thing, dude.
We're working around the clock with these guys. You know, there's sometimes 15 guys that we're trying to get this thing together and get it done, and so we got to work with each other. And it was a really cool experience because we got to know, each of us got to know how we worked and how to stay out of each other's way. And
sure, almost like an overhaul. And remember, that was one of the shows that they would stay true to the whole timeline.
Right.
And you would see all these different people, and obviously it takes a lot of talent, but you have to also stay out of each other's way and navigate those waters.
Right.
So here's a question for you. Would you do it again?
Oh, absolutely.
I love it. Yeah.
It might take me a little while to recover. I'm laying in bed at night just like, holy crap, the attention that this truck is getting on social media is off the hook.
Yeah,
it's everywhere. It was on our local news station back in Seattle.
Really?
On the 5 o'clock news last night. So one of my friends just saw it, and I'm getting calls from people I haven't talked to in a while all over the country. It's like, did you have anything to do with this? I'm like, well, yeah. Well, you can't help but not find it. It's just it's in your face.
Yeah, we did an interview with Legacy EV earlier today, and we're like at a period in time where I remind people back in the day when carburetors were starting to kind of get replaced with fuel injection, and people were like, no, the old school was like carbs. Now it's hard to find someone that's good at tuning a carb, right? Depending on where you live.
Yeah.
So do you see the hate out there that people give the EVs? Like they're just like, wow, you're ruining.
It's not as bad this year because there's so much technology that's just come up.
Blowing up.
Maybe because we were so suppressed last year, that we just couldn't. It built up, and now it's like boom.
Yep.
EV is here, but the hate comments that I've been seeing are pretty minimal.
Yeah, minimal. Yeah. And that's a crazy thing. We shared a Jeep earlier. We heard from the builder, and it's a lower Jeep. You're an old school mini trucker, so it was getting a lot of hate because it's not a Jeep thing, but. You know how it goes sometimes.
It was badass.
Yeah, me too.
Because it was slammed.
Right, exactly. And the cool thing is that even when something's getting a little bit of hate, it's that engagement that people want. Everybody wants to say their opinion.
Right.
And that helps, pages grow. It helps people, find new things. Yeah. Whether they like it or not. I'm curious about this. So when this truck has to be shipped down, what was your did you have a deadline where you had a shipper coming to get it and you guys were scrambling? When was that deadline?
That was literally a week ago yesterday.
Oh, wow. And we're on Thursday now. We're talking Wednesday last week.
The interior pieces were showing up in the morning, and I was finishing buffing, doing detail work, trying to find clips for the trim that were obsolete, just trying to make it go together. And it was pretty late in the evening, and we were putting it in the trailer, and I I was chasing it up, and I went up into the front of the trailer while I was getting tied down, and I was doing the final adjustments on the hood.
Wow, that is insane. Did you know that it was going to be like front and center in the Ford booth, or did they not share that with you? How does that work?
We had a non-disclosure agreement,
Got it,
obviously, so that's
because like they didn't want you sharing photos and all that ahead of time.
Couldn't do anything, so I had to keep quiet.
NDA, baby.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, as the project evolved because it started as one thing and ended up as a completely opposite.
Right.
So there was things changing all the way through.
Yep.
So, once I found out that Jay Leno was doing the reveal, I was like, "Oh, they're not messing around with this, But we gotta
put the pedal to the metal, so to speak.
Make it happen, man."
Yep. Are you excited to be able to see it drive and things like that? I mean, I'm sure you guys didn't really get a chance to do much because it's like
one little test drive up and down the block, and it blew the tires off. And it's like,
all right,
this is what it is.
Load her up and hit. Are you excited to see the mini truck resurgence? Like, obviously, we're standing here in front of Billy Bob's truck. We love it. He's your Pacific Northwest homie, as Ron. He's from up that way. But, we always say minis on the rise. And it does see, even though there's only a couple here, that there is a resurgence of that. Are you excited?
Oh, absolutely. It makes me feel young again.
Yeah, brother.
That's why I'm going to roll 16s Renaults on my next ride,
I love it. Are we going to get? If we had a BMX bike here, we'd see if you could do some tricks, man. Bring back the old school.
Yeah, man, I've fallen off too many motorcycles. I don't know.
I know. Yeah, I was never good at doing the tricks and stuff, but I love riding my bike.
I could do some of the stuff, but I didn't get as good as some of the guys.
Yeah. Mongoose just recently re-released a couple of the old. They're calling like the California specials, like the early '83, '84 look.
Yeah.
And I took a look at those, and obviously they've got that old school flair, but it really reinforces that, like, everything like 80s, 90s, you saw the Roadster chassis over there, all of that stuff is like, it's back, baby.
Yeah. No, it's pretty cool. I like to see some of the excitement from the younger generation that we enjoyed so much when we were that age, and you can see it, in your podcasts and in your travels and all your videos that I watch. That's a lot of younger generation getting excited about it, and that's pretty cool to see because there's not many people get excited about much anymore.
Oh yeah, I know. Well, I really appreciate you saying that, Brandon, because I mean it's an honor that you've listened to the podcast and you followed and stuff, because I see what you guys put together, and I'm thinking, man, you guys are on a whole nother. A level. And I know it was a group effort. You know what I'm saying? I know it wasn't just you. I mean, it was a lot of hands in it. Brand X Customs with an S on Instagram, right? They can check out more.
Right.
Any last words, man?
And Facebook.
And Facebook. Okay.
Our Facebook page.
Before I ask if there's any last words, I know you probably haven't had a chance to really walk around a lot, but what's your sense of like how SEMA is this year? Are you excited? I mean, do you think it's
I'm a little disappointed. It's not like it was 2 years ago.
You mean with the vendors?
The vendors, yeah.
Yep.
The foot traffic's less. I'd say we're down about a third, in my opinion.
Okay.
I hope
that's what we wanted. I
hope that by next year it's back up, because half the companies I work with in the automotive, repair, custom, like the materials of paints, they all pulled out at last minute.
Yeah.
So I'm building a 54 Chevy pickup, and it was supposed to be in the Matrix paint booth, but they pulled out.
Yeah, so I got it. We'd love to keep in touch with you whenever you get that mini back on the rise.
Yeah.
And would love to share photos with you and talk to our partners over at All Time Low Magazine or Street Trucks and get it featured. But, I certainly appreciate the fact that, you're old school and you're still doing it, man. I love hearing it, Brandon.
Yeah, right on, man.
Any last words for the Airhead Nation?
Hey, keep on trucking.
My brother, stay on the rise.
Right on.
Hey, so we've got the, I don't know, I'm kind of winding down a little bit. I'm not sure how much more audio I'm going to be able to get. And it's just been an awesome year. Again, this is technically Thursday, kind of the final day in my mind, although Friday is open to the public. I think Friday is going to be balls to the walls as well. But got another victim here. We got Kyle Fannin, came by, big supporter of the podcast. Kyle, how you doing?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
Good, man. This is cool to link up with you because the reach of a podcast, there's people that find it. You start listening. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right, I'm from the East Coast also. I'm in Maryland, right on the Chesapeake Bay. So I've been here. Oh, shit, I'll fuck this up, dog.
No.
Okay, so I'm a fireman in Washington, D.C.
Yep.
I live in Maryland.
Yep.
Listen to podcasts on my way to work. I work 6-7 days a month sometimes, so I got an hour commute. So usually I get half the podcast on the way to work, and when I get off the next day, I'm listening to the back half of it.
Right.
And then the next tour, usually something's dropping like at least once a week. So you're probably on my stereo at least half the time.
That's awesome, man. And it's funny because let's not give people the wrong impression. You said you work like 6 or 7 days a month. You're not part-time. You're a firefighter.
Yeah, it's actually a 42-hour work week, which is more than a normal work week, but it's 24 hours at a time. So it's 1 day on, 24, 3 days off, 72 hours. So
yeah, and you're not sleeping like Mike. Like Mike, the rumor is like he'll pull the mail truck over and sleep for a couple hours. Like he'll have a bad hangover. And I'm like, hey, he must have been hanging out with Hank.
Yeah, and I wish Hank was here.
Right.
But he's not.
I swear I saw him. But, dude, that guy, I mean, I've never seen Ron and Hank together, so I'm wondering. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it makes you wonder. But I don't mind trying to go over here and, like, sweet talk these people and see if we can get on their pass for Hank and fly him in.
Dude, I honestly, if you mention that it's Hank Norris, they might just, like, patch you into, like, the SEMA, like, the committee. You know what I'm saying?
I could see it. But on the passes, I had a hard time getting here because SEMA mailed out the badges 2-3 weeks ago.
Empty.
I got an empty envelope.
And what was your mindset? Were you like, dude, now you're going to make me stand in this long roller coaster line to get in?
Yeah, so as soon as I call, they're like, we're not mailing out new ones. There's a bunch of this has happened to. Just come out here, scan your barcode, we'll print you a new one. So the first thing I thought, Mike Murray, he set everybody up.
Dude, I'm telling you, he's got to be involved. And you know what it is the Postal Service is on the downfall, I think.
It's a conspiracy. Mike's not here. Hank's not in here. It
Yep.
all goes back to one thing.
See, Mike, dude, Kyle's listening, man. He's a good listener. Here's the cool thing, right? I've only been to SEMA a handful of times. What about yourself?
This is my third trip out here.
Third trip. What do you think compared to the previous years? I've been asking everyone that.
I think there's a lot more room, per se, but they also added another hall. So I don't know if there's less product and vendors or if they've just made more room between all the booths, having the more floor space.
Yeah, absolutely. And people have brought that up. Like I talked to one of the homies earlier, and he goes, it's definitely smaller. There's less people. There's less vendors. And then I've heard people go, well, wait a minute, the whole West Hall. I remember in years past, they had a bunch of those tents and stuff. You had like the first year SEMA vendors. My understanding, a lot of that's over there. But bottom line to me is even if it only stayed like this, with a few of the gaps, you have tables kind of in between. I mean, I'm okay with it because, dude, I mean, going through these little sections, like I feel like, man, I don't mind being around a lot of people, but, man, there's a lot of people here.
You're not bouncing into people like years past. There's probably 2 or 3 foot between the rows here, so I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see what's going to happen. Like when they look at all their numbers, their final numbers, they're going to see how many times these were scanned. They're going to see how many people actually came through and picked up their passes and things like that. So I'll be real curious to see, how they spin. Is it just a recovery year from the pandemic? Is it something like that? So we'll have to. I
think there's still good crowds here from years past. We'll see. It's not online like it was last year.
Yep.
So that's a plus. I'll put the mask on. I want to be here.
Yeah, exactly. It shows how big the industry really is with these many people here. The other thing that I think is cool is we're recording here, and something that I thought was really awesome, Kyle, is you're not only a listener, but you're an enthusiast, right? So you've got a couple of different projects, but talk to us about the early, I guess they're technically called NBS trucks.
Yeah, I've had an NBS truck almost 19 years now. I picked it up in 2003. I've had it the whole time.
Yep.
I tried to sell it about 10 years ago, and it's been hidden from the light of day for the last 12 years.
Regular cab, Escalade front end.
Escalade. I was one of the first people to have the Escalade clip. And I went to the GM dealer, and back then they had to print out the parts manual, and I had to go through it line by line
and pick
each nut, bolt, everything. And I did that, put it on there. The truck was at the body shop for about 6 months. The guy painted it. It's on bags. It's got KP component, cantilever 4-link in the rear, engine-driven compressor, like half-inch lines. It's all the same. And a month after getting it painted the first time, I was driving home from a show, a deer popped out. Destroyed the whole front end.
After you put all the swap,
all the work and time and paint. It was actually Lamborghini orange, green flames, and the indigo blue. So that paint job was only on there for less than a month.
Wow.
Then I had to go back to the GM dealer again and buy a second Escalade clip.
And did you at least get a little bit of money from insurance?
Did insurance? It did all right.
Right.
So you got the new front clip, painted it all over again, more House of Collar on it, and it's been the same since then. Was on the show scene back then for 5-6 years. Moved away and actually left it with my dad. He was the caretaker of it for about 10 years.
Really?
And I recently just picked it back up from him and put license plates on it and everything last month. So it's going to be back on the show scene here. 2023 is going to be the rebuild for it. Going to do a few updates to it, all period correct, and can't wait to get it back out there.
Yeah, and was it something like that had been started over the years? Like, did you guys just all crank it? Like, was it a pain to get it to air up, dead battery, all that stuff? Like, what was that process?
I've gone through a few Optima batteries in it.
Yep. Because once those things die.
That's it.
Yeah.
But I put a new one in it, and it still cranks up every time. Put a battery switch on it, start it up every once in a while, and I can't complain. But
yep. Yeah, that's good. I know a lot of people, Optima often gets a bad rap, but for me, I actually invested in one of those little Optima battery chargers, and I was just telling someone earlier, I was talking to Dave Schulman about it, and with my Lincoln, I remember one day I started it, and it sounded like it was like a weak battery, but I'm like, well, I had this high output alternator. I'm like, I'll be fine. So I go to the gas station, start it. I was like, man, it's pretty weak. Let me go home and get my jump box. Go home, almost get home. The car dies, and it won't crank because the battery was dead. And for the most part, I disconnect my battery, and I keep the battery tender on it. Now, I don't know if I don't think it was 100% charged, but, man, those Lincolns, man, they take so much cranking amps. It's like sometimes I wonder, it's like, I don't know if I should go to an old school battery or not. So I'm going to see. But for the most part, I've never had issues with Optimus.
Yeah, I'll stick with it. It's worked for me for 20 years. Everything I've got has an Optima in it.
Yep, me too. So. Yeah, and I've got that cool charger. I love it, and I would recommend to anyone. I think I bought mine on Amazon for like $90, but you pick what color charger or battery type you have, and it'll trickle charge it. But what are you most excited about going into the new year? Because my understanding, talking to you here, you've went to a bunch of shows this year, clocked maybe close to 12,000 miles.
Yeah, I've got about 12,000 miles in my square body Suburban. Started out last year at the LST. Took six trucks there from Maryland and Virginia. Next show was at Battle in Bama. Real good show.
Yep.
Can't wait to go back. We're already pre-registered for LST. Can't wait for a few more months here to go by for the Battle in Bama pre-reg. Also, we got the Eastbound Get Down.
Yes.
We've got a couple guys signed up for that.
January.
The inaugural show. Pretty excited to go to that.
Yep. Yeah, inaugural, because Mike got that wrong. Someone called them out. They're like, I hate when people say first annual, because I don't think I think that's one of those like grammar things. Like the first time, it's not maybe annual, it's an inaugural. So there you go. I mean, Mike, we're schooling you right now.
There we go. Inaugural year.
Right. Yeah, look at you.
And then next year, it'll be the annual.
Right, the annual event, exactly. But so obviously you're going to get sideways into 2022. I mean, January is his show, which I think is awesome. Are you looking to refresh the NBS truck?
Yeah, that's going to be the 2023. It gives me all year to get everything lined up. Haven't picked out what exactly I want to do to it. We're going to do some wheels, new tires, air management, just a few things. Make it period correct and get it back on the show scene for 2023 for the anniversary, 20-year anniversary of it.
That's freaking cool, man. Now, was it featured back in the day?
Actually, it was scheduled to be shot by Travis Nowak.
And he was here earlier.
I haven't seen him yet, but I posted a picture a few weeks ago. I found his business card from, I guess it was 2004. I met him in Pennsylvania when he was working for Truckin Mag, and we lined up a thing to get it shot, and it just didn't work out.
Yeah, he's a great guy. He was here earlier. I got a chance to chop it up with him a little bit. I was actually going to pull out the audio equipment and record, but we just kind of did it impromptu, lived in the moment, and just reminisced about the old days. He'd make his way down to Florida, obviously to your point, pretty much all over. But the cool thing for him too is he really worked for each of the magazines, and then he was the editor. When he sat down here, he said it's kind of weird sitting in the seat for my former employer, which was Engage Media. So, but listen, Kyle, dude, it's been a blast. I really appreciate you coming by. C10 Club, you guys are good people.
Check us out, C10 Club Maryland.
Yeah, C10
go on there,
Club
follow that
on Instagram and
on
Facebook.
Instagram, and also we're on TikTok and YouTube. So we got a little bit of everything going on at C10 Club Maryland.
I love it. TikTok's on the rise.
It is.
Give us a Wiachia.
We out here.
There you go, brother. Hey, thanks so much. Stay safe out there firefighting and doing what you do, patrolling those rivers and whatnot. And thank you for being a listener, and thank you for listening to Ronnie as well. He's a great guy. Stay on the rise, my brother.
All right, you too, buddy. Full size on the rise.
My dog. Yo, so I think we've reached the end of this episode. What we're going to do is kind of just wrap it up here. Man, it's the end of day 3. Obviously, I've got to wrap up the audio to get this episode out Thursday night into Friday, as we always do, and it's really just been an amazing week. I've tried to do my best through social media to get all of the cool, awesome stuff out to everyone. Basically, from my count, there's 3 mini trucks, right? So I kind of talked about those earlier. There's a bunch of awesome stuff. I'm so stoked to have met so many great people and have Billy Bob represent, all mini truckers, having his truck indoors. Also, the dude that we mentioned that has the orange S10 over in the West Hall, gave him credit through a couple of posts, and you can follow him. It's Dayton Jacobson, and what I'm basically doing is just really kind of wrapping up here and just letting everyone know what I witnessed. Basically, super busy week. The Tesla Loop was awesome. The Vegas Loop, I should say, with the Tesla cars and the Boring Company. And just all of the different vendors. I mean, there's a lot of people out here. There's a lot of good networking that we've done. Met some great people. I will also say that EV is definitely the future, whether we like it or not. I think you're going to continue to see things that are going to grow with the EV stuff. So super excited there. Again, I mean, it's a new thing in our scene, and we'll have to see if there's any mini trucks that are going to come out with with electric motors and stuff like that. So super excited about that. But I would say overall it was a successful year. Tons of vendors. I was happy to come out, and Friday's going to be a new venture because they're going to be open to the public. So I think that's pretty awesome. So again, awesome week to all the vendors out here, all the great people. A lot of the coverage, you can check the hashtag SEMA 2021 or just SEMA in general. We've tagged SEMA in most of our posts. So a lot of curated content out there. Just tap on those hashtags. But as I started to wrap it up, I wanted to bring Billy Bob in. And Billy Bob, we just had you on last week, but what I thought was so awesome is we had an opportunity to talk to you pre-SEMA with our SEMA preview. How awesome was it to have your truck out here and represent all mini truckers indoors in the main Hot Rod Alley through Engage Media's booth?
It was really awesome. It's a great spot. It's right on the end, right down a main walkway. The reaction has been kind of unreal all day long, picture after picture. I've told the story of the truck probably a million and one times.
Oh, yeah.
It's just been great. Met a lot of cool people, and it's really cool to be out here and representing mini trucking and, everybody in the scene, trying to keep it alive.
One thing that I sometimes tend to forget, right, is, being on social media so much, I have to remind myself that not everyone's on social media. Not everyone buys every magazine. Not everyone is as connected, especially if you're in a certain genre of the industry. So to be able to come out here and have it on display for so many people, what I noticed was so many folks maybe had never seen this vehicle before. They were blown away. I've heard countless people say it's my favorite thing here. I've seen people just kind of strolling by and they turn, they get this big smile on their face. They go, man, this is badass. Are you ever amazed when you just sit back and see how much it brings joy to people to see this awesome little mini truck, 63 Datsun NL 320?
Yeah, I actually have. I've walked away and I lean against the wall and I just watch because it's kind of cool to step back once in a while. And, I was on the phone with my wife and she's like, how's it going with the truck? Like a lot of people looking at it. I'm like, well, right now there's 6 people taking a picture and looking at it. Well, they just walked away. Now there's 4 more just walked up and took a picture. And they all do. They stop in their tracks and they smile and then, they'll stop when I am here and they'll be like, oh man, my grandpa had one of these. Oh, and then, what is this? Oh man, this is so cool. And it's earlier today, Carlson stopped by that worked for Hot Rods by Boyd and said, I saw a picture of this on the internet and I had to come hunt it down and he didn't know if it was factory or not. And
yeah, and who was he again?
He worked for Boyd Connington.
Yeah, was he the older gentleman?
Yes, the older gentleman.
I saw him down there earlier.
Yeah, and so
really talented guy.
Very. And to have somebody like that stop by and comment on the thing and say, I had to hunt this down, and then, man, this is super, super cool. Gave me his card and said, if you come across another one for sale, call me. I want one. Yes.
You've had people say, hey, I don't care the price. Here's my card. You call me first. I mean, those are the cards you don't throw away, right?
No, yeah.
But to me, it's been just an amazing reaction to see people. And the cool thing is, I mean, we're talking about a 60s mini truck. You know, most of us got in the mini truck in maybe late 80s, 90s, of course. We've established that over the years. But, I mean, it just goes to show you that mini trucks, I mean, we're out there like Ernie wrote that one time with the history of the mini trucks, rest in peace to Ernie, you know, about how the trucks, you know, late 50s into the 60s. And this is a perfect example of one. And seeing it again in person, you had to remind me a couple times, like, yeah, there was a lot of rot repair that you did. So, like, I mean, it's a lot of hard work. And that 7 and 8 years really transformed this thing.
Yes, it did. It was a lot of hard work, hunting down parts and that kind of thing. Like we talked, I think, on the pre-SEMA show. You know, thinking about it while you were just talking there, people stopping by and looking at it and smiling. Earlier yesterday, I see a couple, like, wheelchair motor guys on wheelchair, those motorized things, and they're kind of racing down this thing, and they go and they get to the corner and slow down, and then they turn, and the one stops, and it's Gene Winfield there, stops, looks at the truck for a little bit, and then smiles. And so it was pretty cool to see somebody like Gene Winfield like slow down as he's racing somebody else and actually stop and smile and look at the truck and go,
yeah.
It kind of gives that head nod like, oh, okay. And
thumbs up.
And then, boom, off they go again, racing away. So it even stopped him in his tracks, which was pretty cool. So,
yeah, definitely, man. It's been cool, and I wish there were more mini trucks, but here's the crazy thing. Even with OBS on the rise, as we always said, obviously Ronnie's over there with OBS Talk, I think that the key thing is that there's not a million OBS trucks here either. No. Right, so it doesn't mean, I think, you know, this is a return year from a pandemic, you know, with the canceled show last year. So, you know, to me, it reinforces to me that it's not like, you know, mini trucking's on the downfall. It's just that, you know, there weren't many that were out here to be product placed, you know, in 2021. So, you know, hopefully we'll continue to see mini trucks out here. But again, I'm super stoked. I'm thankful for someone like you that, you know, brought your truck out. You know, you put all the time, you've dedicated to yourself to so many projects, including this one. So, you know, Billy Bob, fist bump right there, doggy. Yep. And it's great to be able to see you again and do audio in person, dude. It's awesome.
Yeah, it is pretty cool.
I want to take a moment and say, if you have an opportunity, go to HAMMERD weekendwear.com. There are 2 new pre-sales that just went down. It's ending on Sunday, basically like kind of at midnight is what you want to think, you know, end of the day before you go to bed on Sunday night. You basically have Twisted Topless, the Hammered Weekend Wear, amazing shirt. It's the Mazda that I always think of as the bamboo Mazda. It's got the bamboo deals in it. And you've got also the C10 in the back. And I think the C10 was the one that I've seen where it has that awesome front end on it. So you kind of have a dual, you know, shirt there. And I forget the guy that owned this was Kevin. And that was pretty awesome. And then one of my favorite designs, I mean, every time I say it's one of my favorite designs ever, I saw the 88 to 98 truck. And this one is a silver extended cab, I think it is. And it is objects in the mirror are lower than they appear. And then you got the big Kahuna burger in the back, Jimmy's Car Wash. So pretty cool. I love across the grill instead of GMC, it's HDWW, which is short for Hammered Weekend Wear. So please, if you can, go out to hammeredweekendwear.com, pre-order those shirts. He does sometimes order a few extras, but what you want to do is get in with the pre-sale because you can get the talls, the bigger sizes, stuff that he doesn't typically stock. Of course, you got banners and you got hoodies. The cooler season's coming along. If you like what he's got, please go out there and cop it up. And add OLP to the notes. You never know. I've heard that Hank's been throwing in some stickers, things like that. Don't know what they're laced with, you know. I don't know. I know Hank was gallivanting around here. He had fake $100 bills. He was trying to pass them off as real, but one of the police officers tried to take him in. He goes, "No, it was a joke. I kid." And we're like, "Okay," and then he let him go. So I don't know what happened there, but all I can say is it's been an awesome week. I would love to talk more. I didn't get a chance to link up with Steve Wilk to talk a little bit about having Ernie's car here, but he did a long post, and he gave a lot of thanks to everybody that's came and to check it out. If you go on Instagram and type in WILK, you'll see Wilk Works with an X. And look at his post from Thursday, 54 comments, and it starts with, "Ever since my close friend Ernie Macias passed away." Good read. Rest in peace to Ernie. Rest in peace to all those that we lost this year. And I think we're going to wrap it up for this episode. Can't wait for Lone Star Throwdown. Can't wait for Mini Truck Showdown. Can't wait for Mini Truck Nats. Can't wait for Scraping the Coast. Can't wait for Orange Beach Invasion. All those amazing shows. And to all of our sponsors, we appreciate you. Lastly, I would say, I forgot to mention this last time, in a month from now, on December 4th, we're going to be in Orlando for the toy drop. Please, 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 if you can come out from the folks that put on Made of Steel and Lift the Truck Nationals and other events. It's going to be at Deezerland, which is a car museum. I've seen videos of it online. It's pretty cool. There's a Lincoln that I want to see there that was in the Inspector Gadget movie. So a lot of cool stuff. Toy drop, December 4th in 1 month. Stay safe, everyone. We're going to hit you next week. And, oh, by the way, I know some of you guys were waiting for the audio from Robert that wrote the book. I am going to roll that audio next week, only because we were jam-packed this week, and I want everyone to be able to come back and hear that. So we do have that audio done, and we'll bring it to you next week. So stay on the rise. ODB, we out ya. And here's what, Ron, give us a we out ya.
We out Vegas.
Peace.